Hello and welcome to Ladies in the Living Room. Hi, Kristen.
Hey, Laura. How's it going
Guess
in
what,
Florida?
guys? We are not in the living room. The living room has traveled, but we are not in the living room. I am currently in Florida, catching a little sun, even though I am paler than, I don't know. So I'm milk paste white. However, it is gorgeous here, and we're here for just a week. So we are doing the podcast. We couldn't wait because there was just so much to talk about on the Valley. But first, do you want to talk a little bit about the Beverly Hills reunion, part
Yeah.
3?
Yeah, the
Oh,
final
Lord.
one. It's over.
What do you It's over. Oh my God, it made it and over, and Garcelle was like, "I'm out. I'm out. I don't care. I'm out."
I'm out.
Andy was like, "Oh."
He look so dejected. I actually felt
He
bad.
really did.
Like he got turned down for the prom. Like, just felt so bad for
I felt a little bad for Andy because I felt like he was taking it on, like he thought it was his fault that she was having a
Well, I
problem.
think he did. And you know
You
what?
know,
It
like
was
he's like,
ironic, I think, for him because Garcelle said in the beginning, we're going to finally take a cast photo. So
I
when Andy
know,
said, okay, now he was kind of talking to her. Now we're
for
going to take the
sure.
cast photo. And she's like, I'm out. Nope.
Well, I'm just mad because they were supposed to go to supper.
Oh, I know.
Well, who was she gonna have supper with, Nat?
Avi.
That left. Listen,
Avi
I
and
thought
Jen.
what?
She'll have supper with Avi and Jen.
Oh God, is Avi. Oh Lord, I'm surprised they didn't have Avi come out with like the shots at the end, but it doesn't look like they did shots. However, what were your thoughts on it? I thought it was really
Look, here's the thing.
okay.
The whole season was you know?
It was.
And, it was
It wasn't.
all the way to the end.
I thought this was really kind of a little look-see into Kyle's whole like not gonna say I'm a lesbian, but I am
Yeah.
questioning. Like I feel like it's because she kind of dances so far around it all. So
Oh,
I think she was kind of being like, "Okay, I'm questioning," and then she started to get emotional, and she's like, "I don't wanna make my kids feel bad, and I don't wanna make them look stupid," but she said the way they reacted, she's got the freedom to do what she wants to do, so she's very careful to say she's not a lesbian, or she's very kinda careful to not address it, but she does address it.
here's what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna defend her a little bit because I think
Sure,
the
I'm not
entire world is frustrated with her. But here's a woman who's been married for almost 30 years.
totally.
Being out, theoretically, is a very big deal. So I get that. Like, to just say, yes, I'm with a woman now, it's a really big deal, even though her daughters understand. I think
Right.
Mo understands. We understand. But it's a
It
big
doesn't
deal to say it.
necessarily mean it doesn't necessarily mean she's a lesbian either. It just means maybe she's bi or she's like, it's a lot of different feelings in there. So I'm not
Yeah,
I get it. It's not so linear or black and white, but Andy
I
said
know.
like my kid said, she's like, "Oh, they said there's nothing you could do that I wouldn't love you."
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's what my father said to me when I came out." And she's like, "Well, but again,
But then
there's
she's
she's
like, but I'm not coming out. Like she's
right.
very, well, like you
Right,
said.
she's cagey, she's cagey. She's very
Yeah.
careful not to say too much, and then Kathy was so funny when she was like, "Well, I told the girls I'm a he's like, "What, that you were a lesbian?" And she's like, "No, the Kyle," and then she's like, "Did I handle it okay?" And then Kyle's like, let me just speak to this Kathy. Like, let's
Yeah.
not get crazy here, you know? So, I think
And,
Kyle's still
maybe she
questioning.
doesn't know where it's gonna go with Morgan. I think
Yeah, maybe
clearly
she's
they're
just
in
not sure.
something. She doesn't know. She's not divorced yet. It's,
Yeah, and maybe
off
too
right now. Yeah.
right, or maybe she just wants to be with Morgan. Maybe she doesn't wanna be with women, maybe she just wants to be with Morgan, and if it
Right.
doesn't work out with her, then maybe she's not into women, like, I feel like she really honestly doesn't know.
I think so, 'cause I think she's deep down, I don't think she's gay, like, always been gay. This is
No,
just
she
a
said
new
she'd never
relationship
questioned.
for her. Yeah.
Right. She said she's never questioned her sexuality ever. And she didn't even say sexuality. She just said, I'm questioning.
Mhm.
So she's very, she's very close to the vest. And I don't blame her. I feel like it's complicated probably for her too.
I think it is complicated, and again, before she announces
Which
it to the world, she's gotta really think through what she wants to do. Now, with that being said, if she comes back, she's can't keep dancing like this. She's
no,
got
I mean, I think I
eventually really say something. It's gotta be you're on a
I
reality show.
yeah, I think one way or another, I think she's trying to hold back something for herself. And it's hard when she's put so much out there. And now everybody just thinks they're gonna get everything from Kai. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who knows? So that was basically it. And then Garcelle just kind of going, yeah, no, I'm finished and I'm done. They don't respect me. I don't want to be friends with these women. And, that was
Felt
kind of it.
impacted, she didn't feel accepted. She felt like the women didn't smile when she came out. I think she felt she wasn't expecting the pushback that she got about the Dorit comments with the house.
Yeah.
I think
I
she
think,
thought that Sutton wasn't appreciating her as much as Sutton should have been, and I agree with
yeah,
that.
totally. But, again, I think Kyle did say, like, it's not really a happy thing. It's not really a smiley event. Like, people
No.
are nervous. Everybody's kind of, going, oh, shit. When is it coming for me? Kind of.
Yeah.
And then there was just Jennifer Tilly, who was just funny still, like,
Oh,
funny. I definitely think Sutton was on some anxiety meds for sure.
it was either anxiety meds or like a Klonopin, yeah,
Oh,
something.
well, right. That's like that's some med for anxiety. So
Anxiety, yeah, right. That's what she was definitely on that because she was so sedate for the majority of this reunion.
she
So,
was, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get to the Valley because man, was this a great premiere.
well, after kind of getting a depressing Housewives reunion, what a delight to go into the
Oh,
Valley.
this is
I
gonna be a great
smiled the whole time I
season.
was watching it. Yeah,
This is going to be a great season. And
yeah.
like I gotta say, for Jax and Kristen, like lightning is striking twice for them.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
Brittany, but like lightning is striking twice. Like this has like a Vanderpump pull for me.
Lightning in a bottle. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's lightning in a bottle, but I mean it's lightning for those two, and they're getting. I don't know if it's going to be to the levels of Vanderpump, but like it's
It's got
simmering.
potential.
Yeah, it's got the potential for sure, and I think they're already even past like the simmer phase. I mean, things are boiling. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Whether pot's gonna boil over like it did on who knows? But and it's interesting because that Jesse Lally, man, that Jesse,
Oh,
what
yeah. Oh,
he's a you know what? This is
he's
what
a
I wrote. This
douche.
is wait, you're gonna laugh. This is my first note up to myself. Hang on a second. My phone locked up on me, but I say, Jesse, this is literally what I write to myself. Jesse has some jacked up teeth. And I can see where Michelle wants to beat his ass. He's so cocky and a douche. However, he's good TV, and I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't either. But he's watchable.
Um,
He's watchable. He's a
he's a
douche,
dick, though.
but he's a dick. Think about the very beginning, right?
He's a
He's in
dick.
the house. She left the house. It's like similar with Jax. Like, yeah, you get out. I'm
Of
staying here.
course, of course, these two are friends. Both douchebags make the wife go.
Yeah,
Number
they
one.
make the life go.
They make the white go. And second of all, like it's been 9 months. Like Jax tries to be like, "Oh, I've given Brittany everything. I don't believe in fighting over these things," is what he said. It's at one point, and I'm like, "How dare you?" He made her move out. Like he's having that conversation with Jesse, sitting in the house.
Yes.
Like he's trying to make it like, "Oh, he made it so easy on Brittany." No, he made it so hard on him. And she
Yeah.
actually said, "I'll never forgive him for making me move out."
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Oh, I know. I mean, think about it, with Brittany, she has crews, I think, the majority of the time, right? So you're gonna make your wife and your child leave,
What an
and you're gonna
ass.
stay in the empty house? I mean,
And I'm sure, like, that's where all of his therapies and then, of course, because he's talking to Jesse in their house,
yeah.
and then Brittany is talking to Michelle
Yes.
in her rental house.
Right. Right.
So they're basically, just talking about, he's talking about how, like, he saw Julian's name on the iPad. And by the way, I've heard on all these different things, like, they're not that close of friends. Like, they were friendly, but they're not that he helped him get a manager or something. Like,
Uh,
he's trying to say that they were these close friends. And
right.
Kristen and Brittany are both like, no, they're not.
No.
And he's like, I don't know. I saw it on the iPad. I saw that she was texting him and all hell broke loose. And apparently he flipped the coffee table
Yeah. And
and
hit
then
her in the knee.
right, and she said it immediately turned black,
Mhm.
and, like, I'm sorry, but, like, at what point I don't blame her for being terrified.
Of course.
She said she's terrified to be alone with him. Of course she
Yeah.
is. He's caused her now bodily harm.
Yeah. He's got a flippin' temper for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
he's just got like a rage in his eyes. He always kind of has that.
But
But
Jax is always playing the victim. It's like, "I just lost it. I just lost it," and he's talking to Jesse, he's
yeah.
like, "And I raged, and I became unhinged." It's almost like and he makes this sound like normal. He's like, "Find me a guy that wouldn't react that way." Well, I can tell you a lot of guys that wouldn't react that way,
Oh
that
yeah.
wouldn't flip a coffee table with their autistic child, in the next room or whatever, like, and then hit her in the leg with it, and then go out and party and do drugs. Like, no. Like, there's plenty of men who would not react like that. Grown men, you're 45 years old,
That's another thing that's sad. He's
you
45 years
know?
old. And speaking of their son, oh my God, he is the image of Jax, right?
Oh,
He
he's
looks
so
so much.
sweet.
He's beautiful, Cruz. He looks just like Jax. Oh wow, and they
He
showed
does,
him.
he's got he's a cute kid and, he's getting everything, but Jax wants to be like, I'm not a great husband, but I'm a great dad."
Great father. I
Jax,
know. I mean,
Jax,
I know that
Katrina
Brittany's a great mother. You can see that. We'll see with Jax. He loves his son. There's no question. You can see that.
I know, but and I said this last week, "You're not a great," and he's like, "Oh," and he even says it, but Jax knows exactly what he's saying. He knows the optics of everything. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, but I didn't want to, Cruz to see the way I was talking to his mother." And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you should have thought of that. And you're saying it now to try to do damage control. Like, because apparently next week is the week that we see it all go down.
Yep.
And he said, because I saw Jackson in an interview and he was like, what do you think of the premiere? And he said, by far the hardest one for me to watch is going to be episode 2.
Oh,
He
okay.
said, that's going to be bad news. And he's like, but I hope people can remember that this is a year later and my life is in a good place now and blah, 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 blah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this guy, I don't know. And
Mm,
then he said, and Jesse did have some good advice, though. He said, every thought that you have should be of Cruz. That should be your first thought
yeah.
in everything.
Well,
And he's
and
looking at you.
I'll give to him too. He loves his daughter. I mean, you can see that. Like they're loving
But he's
dad.
very, I feel like Jesse's kind of turning his daughter into a nightmare. She's like, he's just like me. She wants everything. Like, he's Mr. Fancy, and
Yeah.
he's like, she's just like me. She wants everything. And he's clearly giving her everything. But Jesse is, oh man, does he know how to push Michelle's buttons, man?
Oh, I mean that at the end,
Oh,
when talking about
wow.
move to the OC, and he was kind of just saying it just to get her goat,
Just to be a
Oh,
dick.
just to be a
She's like,
dick.
"Just be a dick." She's
Yeah.
like, "It's so easy to fight with him." She's like,
Yeah.
"It's so easy to fight because he just knows how to turn those screws, man." And he's
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, why not? Why can't she go to school in Newport?" Like,
Oh yeah,
Jesse.
no. That's a really big deal. What was interesting though, and I think it's why he's got such a like it's like an inner rage for Michelle is I think he thinks, and this is why Kristen came over to Jesse's house. He thinks that Michelle's been seeing somebody for a year while they were married. And remember,
Well,
Chris
right. He
at last
invited Chris. Well,
season?
he thinks. Wait. So she's seeing this new guy, Aaron, right? He was the guy
Yes.
with the beard.
Yeah.
And so he invited Kristen over to apologize because she was saying last year, remember when they were all at Jax's bald spot party? He was
Yeah.
having the bald event for his bald spot in the back.
Yeah.
And she said at the end, she was like, okay, well, Michelle's had a boyfriend for an entire year.
Yeah.
And she was threw that out there. And he was like, not only were you, he was like, you were right about all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And he's saying, if I find out it's this guy, Aaron, who she's
Yeah.
dating now, it's going to be trouble.
I'm
He's like,
thinking it's not,
it's not gonna be
but
good.
we'll see, right? We don't
I don't
know.
know. And then did you see like in the coming attractions, they said something to the effect of like, I know for a fact she's banging some billionaire for 1,500 a night.
Yeah, what was that?
If
That was
she's banging a billionaire, I would hope he's paying her like 30 grand a pop. You know? I would
yeah,
hope there's a lot more money there than just that. You know?
I don't know. She doesn't seem like somebody who would do that, but I don't know. You know,
I
she
don't know
it,
why her ex-husband would say that.
and Michelle last season, she was kind of quiet. So we
Yes,
didn't,
she was.
you didn't really get to know her. And I'm sure now we're going to see a lot more of things. So we'll pick
But
her.
I'll tell you, it's always the quiet ones you gotta watch.
Yes, sometimes.
Always.
Yes.
Always. And clearly she was doing something. Come on. It's very
Well,
clear.
I think she was so, well, she said, right? Jesse gives me the ick. He gave her
Well,
the ick last year too. So I'm sure
he's so gross. And wait,
going
you
on.
won't wait, Kristen, this is what I wanted to tell you. Do
Yeah.
you know that when he went away and said that he was going to do this plant-based medicine, do you know it's the same shit that Shep went away and did?
Oh, really?
It's that same
Oh. Yeah,
that
what
Shep
is
did.
that?
It's that I forget the name of it, but it's something like people know it.
You
Like
hallucinate, right? Like it's some kind of
right. And it
hallucinogenic?
exactly. And you go to the anyway, it's the same. So I was like, well, if that doesn't say it all,
Okay,
that
there we
Shep
go.
and Jesse have both done whatever Waspalooza, what is it called? Oh, I can't think of it,
Yeah.
but it's a thing. So let's talk about our
You
friend.
do make a good point. Jesse is likable in a weird way, like watchable. But anyway,
He's a Jax. He's a Jax.
yeah,
He's the
he is.
same kind of guy.
Yes.
But he's just except I love his clothes. I like his hair. He's got beautiful eyes. And then he opens up and you see like a snaggletooth here and a snaggle over, like his teeth are jacked.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Maybe that's
So,
why Michelle got the ick. In
oh, she
addition
got
to
the
some
it
other
because
things.
he's a dick. He is a
Yeah.
dick. He knows how to turn those screws on her and he's going to do it. And Michelle even said that Jesse this is the kind of same hateful like Jax, said, I would do anything to make your life miserable, to ruin you.
Yeah.
And that's the same shit Jax will do.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely.
They are the same person.
Yes.
They are very similar. He's just in better clothes, Jesse.
Correct. He's a
You know?
little more polished than Jax, kind of. But
So,
Heather. Anyway, go ahead.
so Britt's talking to Janet about that she's having some kind of, I love that Brittany's just throwing these rando parties. I love that she's having a white party. Like
Yeah, I love it.
in downtown LA though, like on Figueroa, which is like way like downtown.
I was
And
gonna
it's a
ask,
real
did you recognize this place, or you
yeah,
did?
that's downtown in Los Angeles. I didn't recognize the place, but when I saw the street, it was like South Figueroa. So it was like a roof party downtown. And of course, I peed my pants that Jax wasn't invited. Having his own party at Jax's at the bar.
Too. Him and Schwartz.
What a rando crap. Schwartz's brother, Bert.
Oh, wait,
He's
I
one of the
missed him.
triplets.
Was he there?
He's one of the triplets. Schwartz has 3 triplet brothers.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I'm not sure, but one of Schwartz's brothers almost died.
Okay. Yes.
And I think it might be Bert. So I'm thrilled to see that he's there. But what a pack of randos at Jax's. I was like, what is this crowd? Right? I was like, this crowd.
It was a little lame. Right. I
Yeah,
mean, I actually almost felt bad for him in a weird way. Like, oh God, this is so depressing for him.
Honestly, I do not feel bad. He wants you. Jax is so fucking aware of the cameras, of what he's saying, what the cameras are doing. Like, he knows every move he makes, which is why I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for Brittany. I feel bad for Brittany having to deal with her autistic child in the middle of this man's fucking nonsense.
Yes.
Nonsense.
That's right. You're right.
All he does is fucking put her through bullshit hell. Honestly. Like, I do not feel bad for Jax at all. He
No.
wants you to feel bad for him, Kristen. He wants to be
No, you're
played.
right. I'm a chump like that. For a second, I was like, well, you know what I was thinking? I was just thinking this is so sad. But
It is so
um
sad.
it
But you
is
know
it is
what?
if he would
Jackson's been pulling this shit for so long, and
yeah.
listening to Brittany talk about it and talk about how he's been lying. He's been doing all this damage control before it's even come out, and how he's fucking lying about it all.
Yeah.
That I'm doing this, and this guy is so calculated.
And he's making it all about him. Yeah.
Ugh,
I think
it's
that
just
next episode it's probably gonna be him going to the rehab, right? We all know he went to the rehab, so him blowing up so much that he has to go to rehab. So we won't be seeing him for a little bit after that because he'll be in
oh,
rehab. So
I'm sure, but you know what? He was in rehab over the holidays. I'm sure they weren't doing a lot of shooting anyway over Thanksgiving, Christmas. You know what I mean? They shoot for a long time. So
yeah.
he's gonna have his butt back in there. Like, do not worry.
Mm.
Uh,
But
so
what did you think
well,
of seeing you mentioned Janet. So what did you think of seeing her and you know what? The poor husband, I keep forgetting his name. It's Jason.
I
Janet is
think
his horrible son. Um,
Jason took hot pills over like all of a sudden I'm seeing Jason hit in a different way. Like all of a sudden I'm like, he's cute.
it's yeah,
I didn't
he
I
is.
didn't think he was very cute. Now I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he was sort of in the background a bit. Now I
Well,
see he might not be.
yeah, no, he's a little, I mean, he's kind of reserved. He's a lawyer. I don't think he's ever going to be the jackass. But
Yes.
he's very cute. He's tall.
Yeah.
Like all those guys are short.
He's very
Jesse's short.
fit.
Jax isn't tall. Danny Bucco is adorable, but he's teensy weensy.
I was gonna bring them up next because they're refreshing to watch. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I like them. They're
well,
cute.
Danny is a little short, but
Hmm.
adorable couple there.
Well, before we jump off, and let's talk about more about Janet and this whole
Yeah.
issue that's going on.
Yeah.
So wait a second. So I thought this was great.
Mhm.
So Janet apparently was on Gabbing with Gib.
Yes.
If you guys haven't heard of this podcast, I think a lot of people listening probably have. Kristen, it's Gabbing with his name is Gibson John.
Yep, Gibson Johns, Gabbing with Gib. It's a huge podcast. It's all Bravo. He's very
So
well known in the Bravo sphere.
and
Uh,
as luck would have it, we are excited. We're having him on our podcast. Well, we're recording it next week. So
yes,
we can ask him for all this like inside dirt because basically they showed him on the premiere last night that
yes,
Janet was on his podcast.
yep,
And basically on that podcast, she spoke to, I guess last season, this is what I got out of it. Zach said at that, I think it was like on the finale or close to the finale,
yeah,
when they were talking that he didn't care. He was mad that he wasn't invited to their baby moon.
right.
To their not to their baby, but that they had a little baby moon with all their friends.
In
And
Big
Zach and
Bear,
Chris
I think. Yeah,
right, Zach and Kristen weren't invited.
right.
And he said, I don't care if she miscarries the baby.
Yes,
It
right.
was a horrible, horrible thing to say.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it was in terrible taste and a terrible thing to say. Yes.
and then she said on that podcast, she basically repeated it, Janet. She's like, Zach and Kristen don't care if I miscarry. They don't care what happens to me, or
Yeah.
they don't want
He
me to have a
moved
healthy
Kristen
baby.
into it. Yeah.
That they don't want me to have a healthy baby or whatever. And that she said that on Gibson's podcast. And then, of course, they had the recording and had his face up there. So we'll
Yeah.
ask him all about that.
Oh,
On
first
our
of
podcast.
all, it's very exciting that we're going to have him on our podcast next
We're
week. I
very
can't wait.
excited.
Very
We're very
excited.
excited.
But we got to bring it up. We got to congratulate him. He got mentioned in
Oh
the
my gosh.
Kelly. Yeah.
The season premiere. No small feat.
Nope.
I'm excited for that. So anyway,
But
so
I
that
think
was
that Janet, it seems like, right, she's having a bit of maybe remorse because now it seems like she wants to be friends again with Kristen. So
well, she was
she
bumping
probably
into
realizes maybe she took it too far. Maybe, she had the baby hormone. She was emotional.
I
She
think
went a
so
little
too.
too
She was like
far.
at the end of her pregnancy,
Yeah.
probably. And don't get in the way of a pregnant lady, and then don't speak about her child,
No.
And
No.
that was not a nice thing, and I think Zach kind of owned it when he was out with Nia and Kristen and him when they were eating ceviche somewhere,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I did say it, but," I think he owned it, I think, but he said it was a horrible thing to say, and I'm sure he was just hurt and didn't mean it.
Well, I think also he seems a little hurt that Janet might be trying to pit Brittany against Zach. And it was
Oh
funny
my
he
god.
called Janet McBoring Pan.
Oh, is that what he called her? And then he also said, "Brittany is so far."
Chance is trying to pit Brittany against me, and Brittany's up Janet's coochie.
He said punani, which I enjoy.
Punani,
Yeah,
okay.
I enjoy the punani. He's like, "She's so far up her punani that," or punani. He's like, "There's like a couch in there. Like she has moved in." And you got to understand, Zach and Brittany have been friends since high school.
Yes, they grew up in
They're
Kentucky
friends from
together.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
So he's like, she's trying. Now, I don't know if they're playing this up for the show, that they're not really friendly, or that.
I think they do have history. I think they are friends from
Who?
back. I think he's the reason she's the reason he's in LA. Like,
Yes, they
yeah.
are super tight. So I
Yeah.
don't know if they're playing up that Janet's trying to come between them for the
Oh, yeah.
show, or if that's really real, because I cannot see Brittany doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot
I
see.
can't see that either. I can see Brittany trying to be the mediator, and I think Brittany does that a lot with a lot of the friends. She's always
'Cause
sort of
Zach
one.
Zach and Brittany are each other's people.
I think so, yes.
That's what he said. Like they're each other's person. And then,
Yeah.
of course, Zach and Kristen are tight too.
Yeah.
They, so,
They're
and
very
Brittany.
they're kind of on the same wavelength in the friend group.
Right.
So, and it was, you know what? It was very nice to see Kristen and Luke. I mean, we know where they're at now.
I
They're
know.
about to have their baby.
Right.
Another thing that was kind of refreshing to see. I'm like, oh, there's old man Luke.
Oh my God. I want to think, Luke, I do so much when I'm watching the Valley.
Yeah.
I want to like Luke so bad. I picture him without the old man Marley beard. I
Right.
picture him in different clothes. I picture him
Without his red
with
face.
on. I picture him like the funny guy. I can't, I don't understand what she sees in this guy. No matter what I try, I want to like this guy so bad.
I know.
But
There's
just
just something that's a good balance with she's a wild spirit, and he's like a grounded, kind of down to earth
dude,
guy.
he's
So
young. She's an old fart.
yeah, he's 10 years
young,
older than her, right?
but he looks like an old man. Like, I don't know if it's his looks. I don't know what it is about this guy that freaks me out, but something
He's got
about him.
older energy. He's got an old person's energy.
He's got the nasal, like he's got the nasal voice and
Yeah.
that beard. I try to picture him without the beard the whole time, and I just can't. Like,
I think, she's had a lot of tumultuous relationships, right? This
You
is a
think?
very stable
Yeah,
person
think?
that she craves.
She
needs
sure
a man
has.
now. So it works. It was nice.
And then, so also, I kind of was dozing off under this part. Maybe you can tell me what happened, and then maybe we'll, talk about next week. But what happened when Kristen was not having Janet's apology at the party, right?
Right. Yeah, I
She
think
said it was fake.
she didn't even want to make eye contact with Janet. And Janet was saying beforehand, we're in the same friend group. I think Janet is smart. She knows we have to film together here. Like, I got to do
What was her?
well,
What was
I
she?
want to have the whole season at a little war with Kristen. So, yeah, I think she,
But what was she actually apologizing for? Because Zach was the one who said that about Janet's baby.
right. So I think when Janet was on Gibson Johns' Gabbing with Gib podcast, she looped Kristen in with Zach.
Oh, with Zach.
What?
Okay.
So, and then Kristen got understandably upset because she had miscarried. She would never wish that. Kristen wouldn't be that, would never say that.
And Kristen, no, she said something to the effect of, Kristen was saying, I would never say anything bad about your baby.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I would never, I might be mad. And she was mad. I think Janet got mad at Kristen for saying all that stuff about Michelle and Jesse.
Yes.
And then she
Right,
decided
and
to go
the
on a
Michelle and Jess and also
anti-Kristen,
Michelle was a conservative and some stuff
right.
about, you know, I don't know, some racial things, I think. So Janet
Listen,
got mixed with that, and
oh, yes, yes. I
yeah,
don't even remember. Right, that was all from last season. But I think at the end of it, I think they're setting us up. They've shown us they're showing us what the conflicts are, and
yeah,
but I think the whole Jack and Brittany thing really blows up next week.
yeah, it does.
And she's basically what they were saying in the coming attraction, she was saying she basically filed a restraining order.
Yeah,
She was asking for full custody of him and, full custody, restraining order, and there was a third thing.
mhm.
I forget what she said.
Yeah, there was, I think I wrote it down
It
even.
was it's in the coming attractions, but
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said it's a pretty wild episode next week. He said this one was pretty tame. He said next week's gonna be pretty bad.
It was a build up to the
It's a
next.
buildup,
Yeah,
and we're off to the races.
I was
Pardon me, sneezing. All
like,
this excitement's getting me stuffy.
yes. I think it's gonna be great. I'm so happy it's on. So, really, like, again, very
There we
refreshing
are.
following a somewhat depressing, Beverly Hills,
Ugh.
Housewives. So, this'll be good. Yeah.
Let's see where it goes. But yeah, the Valley is happening when we have Gibson Johns, it's Johns, right?
Yeah, Gibson Johns.
When
Yeah.
we have on next week, we're gonna ask them all about that podcast with Miss
Yeah.
Janet and
Yeah.
why she decided to kind of go off on it there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're ready to go. I think we just wanted to hop on even while we were away and just say we're ready to go and let's bring on the Valley. And there was really not a lot going on in
On
Atlanta.
right now. We got the Valley. Atlanta's been great.
There
So,
wasn't a lot happening this Sunday though.
yeah, it was sort of what we all expected, the fallout of what happened, no more Kenya, how Brit is handling it. She's very upset. She admitted, I did some things in my past, so she was open about that.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah,
Well, she
I
has to
I give
be.
her credit for that. She was
She
open
has to
about
be.
I mean, what is she gonna do? She was a teenager, she said, and she did some things in her past, and it got
Exactly. But
online,
I
and
mean, she really has no choice because it was out there for everyone to
it
see.
was out there for
However,
everyone to see. But she did say that she
good
scrubbed,
for her.
or so she thought, but, Kenya found a way to dig it up. Um, there might be some tensions brewing now, though, between Brittany and Angela, so we'll see what happens.
Uh-oh. You don't want to get involved with Angela, not with Charles Oakley.
But
Oh
I
boy.
gotta say, I really like Angela. I like her a lot, and
Yeah.
I like Kelly a lot. So these are 2 newbies.
Yeah, I like Kelly too.
Big one.
I like wait, is Kelly the little pipsqueak who has
Little one, yeah.
the waffle place?
Yes.
Oh
That's
yeah, I like her too.
yeah.
I like her.
She had a
Uh-huh.
waffle brunch at the end of this episode. That was
She
interesting.
did? Oh my God. Well, we'll be back on Atlanta's scene tomorrow, next week, but we just wanted to jump on, make sure this goes out. So this is coming out Thursday, and then we'll be back. We're probably not going to be, I don't know if we're going to be back next Tuesday.
I don't know. I mean, we're definitely gonna be back next week with Gibson.
We're
That's
definitely, well, we don't know when that's going to actually air. We're just recording it next week. But
right,
we'll definitely be back next Thursday for the Valley, a week from this, for sure.
for sure.
So don't miss it. So Littler Podcast, let's go on this Valley journey together. So Littler Podcast, don't miss it.
Yeah.
Here we go, everybody. Buckle up. All right. We will see you next Thursday, if not sooner. We're not sure, but
Yeah.
definitely next Thursday for the Valley. Thanks for listening, everybody. Ta-ta.
Thank you, everyone.